just won't leave me alone. I was out there.
Hey, Latice, how you doing today?
I'm good, girl. I'm good. I got up here and I was like, do I want to say I feel good or do I want to say I'm angry? I don't know which one I want to say today. I was looking at a lot of what's going on right now with this recent cop killing, or should I say civilian killing. The cop killed the civilian, and I don't know how I feel. I'm okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. It's like you don't know what to feel or how to process. And it's like the Christian in you is telling you one thing, but the human in you is, so it's kind of like weighing the two options. Like, it's hard.
I can't even tell you that the Christian part of me stepped in yet. I can't. It hasn't gotten there yet. I think that I get confused because I'm constantly weighing, the things that I, overall don't agree with. No, I don't agree with Black people killing Black people, but also I don't agree with anybody killing anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I don't agree with the rioting, but I also don't agree with the people who's supposed to protect and serve us killing us. No, I don't think it's every single cop, that's doing it. No, I don't think it's always racism, but that's the root of it. But there is a problem. There is an issue, I do believe that sometimes, whenever it is a Black person, that we automatically dump it into the racism box when it could have just been a person who has no regard for human life and he just doesn't need to be a cop. You know what I mean?
Right.
You balance between these things of what is it? Where is the issue? Where is the root? Where does it lie? Is it because he was Black, or is it because you're a horrible human being? Or is it a mixture of both? Which one is it? And so because we have these questions, we don't know how to feel. We don't know what to do. We don't know what our next action should be. Should I post? Should I not post? I always fight between that because I'm wondering if I post, I know it helps to bring publicity and I know that it helps to, bring the attention to what's happening, but it also hurts the family that has to constantly see this, over and over again. How are they dealing with that? How are they taking that? And so, I know for myself, even when my mom passed away, it was hard for me to see other people post about things to see. Do we just keep accepting that we're going to die? How do I protect my son? And those are the questions that I feel like I'm facing today. And, I know this interview is supposed to be about my music and we started off at a weird place, but it's like, how do you talk about music? How do you put music out there to keep uplifting people when something always comes to tear us down? So yeah, then that's when my faith steps in and says, okay, God, now where are you? Step in here, give us understanding, give us peace. Like I said, I'm in a weird place today.
Listen, I understand. It's one of those things where it's processing it is hard. For me, I've always been, the silent person, like you see it and you take it, but it's like seeing this entire situation kind of puts you mentally in a different space. And it's like you have to consciously tell yourself, don't put everybody in the same box, don't generalize, even though that's what's been done to us on a constant basis, where we've been placed in this box, we've been generalized. If an African-American woman speaks to, we express ourselves, then we're angry, we're aggressive, but that's just how we speak. If it's sad, it's a sad space to be in, to know that the color of your skin dictates your life or dictates how you're being treated. So it's hard, and especially having African-American kids or, brown kids or whatever terminology people want to use. That shouldn't dictate whether we live or die. I don't think that's anybody else's place. God saw it necessary to make us all unique. He loves us all. So I don't understand why one race dictates or one color dictates what happens to the rest of us. That's just not right.
Yeah.
Listen.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess it definitely does bring us back to the music, got a single out called Something Something, and that's exactly what it's talking about. We're all looking for something. We're all looking for answers. We're all looking for a way. We're all looking for hope, for peace. We're all looking for these things, but ultimately we realize that we need the something of all somethings, which is God. And I think that is the time that we are in. And I don't know if God is using these situations, and this pandemic itself just to really bring us back to that. For so long, we've been so connected to our churches, the building, the politics of it, the four walls of it, our pastors, hiding behind grace, all these different things. But I think that now we're in a time where we can't get to those places and we can't connect with those people. We have to focus on the something of all somethings. We have to focus on the God factor and not the building factor. And, so I think that's where I am right now. It's just, that's where I am in my music. That's where I am in my life. That's where I am in my belief. That's where I am in raising my son. I'm in that space in all aspects of my life. And if I never step foot in a building again, what am I doing from home? I can serve him here, and if all of the church that I've been to in all of the almost 40 years of life I've been living doesn't do anything, can't keep me, in this season, then I've wasted a lot of my time, and so that's what, this music is about. It's about bringing us back to God, writing songs about the symptoms that we feel as human beings, not just as believers, but as human beings, writing songs that are full of symptoms that you can go to and say, wait a minute, I did that. And then seeing all of the medicine, the pills that we use, to try to fix the symptoms, but they only maintain us in the space that we're in. And I think that that's what's been happening too in the world. We've been using pills for so long, temporary fixes. We need a cure. We need something that is going to fix us, something that's going to cause us to change, something that's going to cause deliverance in our, in our lives. And, not just pacify us, not just medicate us.
I couldn't agree with you more, but I think I know people may not agree with that, but I think seeing all the riots and the violence, I don't think that's the answer. I understand that people are angry. I understand that they're enraged. I'm angry. I'm enraged. But I think we need to seat ourselves in positions where we can make that decision to bring about the change that is necessary, because it doesn't matter how much we, say, bust a car window out, or we fight. At the end of the day, it then shows back, oh, they're aggressive, they're this, they're that, but it doesn't solve the issue, because violence with violence does nothing. But we need to keep ourselves in positions that we can make those decisions, that we could bring about the change that is necessary. We need to create avenues where we support our own community, where we build our own community, so that we don't need to be somewhere that we're not wanted. I personally feel that that will be part of when we start to see results. And it's as simple as taking into African-American hair products. Is one of the things that I've always referenced for me. Is initially you had these major companies like Dove and L'Oreal, and you're making these generic hair products, and they never kind of transitioned to make it for the African-American community. Then when there was a transition that African Americans started to make it for us, and they saw the sales, that's when they started to change. Now, all these years, you didn't think that we needed products. Shea Moisture came about, this, it started flying off the shelves, different products for us. That's when now you see more racially diverse commercials for like Dove, for L'Oreal, and all of that. I'm like, y'all didn't think we needed this before? We've been telling you. So when their sales start to go down and they're realizing, you know what, the African Americans and the brown people do, purchase a lot of what we use, then you change. So I think that it is that stance like that is where we need to take to transition out and, support our own community. Go out to these community meetings, sign these petitions, do things, go to City Hall, do things that would actually make it better for us. I think that's the change we need.
Yeah. No, it's true. I even say that in the music community. We will support, other people and other things faster than we will. Specifically in the gospel community, the music that's supposed to uplift, the music that's supposed to free and deliver and, give hope. We'll go, to the Beyonce concert and spend all the money that we can. But when we have something ourselves, we don't support it, And so I do think that that's important because money speaks. And I think that that's the mindset and idea behind these riots is that they feel like that if they, attack the money, then that will change something. And, it goes back to exactly what you said, that I don't necessarily agree with it. I think that it does create exactly what, they're thinking about us anyway. But I do also feel like that when that's all you think you have, then that's what you do, and unfortunately, that's the corner that we've been put into, as African Americans, that those opportunities are not there. Everything we do, we have to fight to get into it. Every door we go into, we have to kick them down. And even when you're trying to create your own, that's why our products are more expensive. That's why our stuff, is always higher priced, because we can't get, I never forget when my dad had his restaurant. We were going to the restaurant depot to try to buy different things, and he happened to notice that the Asian, stuff was cheaper. They're not just their products, meaning the type of stuff they were using, but everything they had, the meat, everything, it was so much cheaper. So he went over to try to buy, and they were like, no. Like we only sell to our own people, and I think that Jewish community does the same thing. They're very much about their own people. They all live in the same community. But anytime, any Black person tries to bring everybody together, they're accused of stealing money, or accused of, I look at Sean King and all that he has to go through. As much as he fights for the Black community, every time he says something, somebody's trying to attack him. Somebody's trying to attack something that he says we don't know. He's embezzling, he's stealing money. And it's just like, why do we attack our people? It's because of the mindset that was rooted in us from long ago. And we continue to teach the bad pancake recipe. With my son, I constantly remind him, listen, you will have to work harder. You will have to be earlier than everybody else. You will have to be smarter. You will have to do more, but do it. I will not teach him the bad pancake recipe of you can't do it because there's a system set up against you.
Right.
And every day I'm not just telling him that he can do it, I'm showing him that he can do it. Yeah, my road is harder. Yes, a lot of work. Yeah, I got to wake up extra early. You know what I mean? You're going to have to wake up earlier because not only are you African American, but you're an African American man. So you will have to do more, but get up and do it. Don't you dare settle for putting drugs out your pocket to sell to nobody. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? Don't you dare, put that into somebody else's life. And so I think that that's what it is. We have to also not just, invest in our own stuff. We have to invest in ourselves and our mentality, changing that bad pancake recipe and us healing as a people, and also not looking to, the other communities and white people and stuff to repay us. It's like the person who owe you money that don't got no job. You are not getting your money back. Move on. And that is what we need to do as a people. We have to move on from them owing us something and for them saying sorry for what they did to us. Move on. And I know that sounds wrong, it's hard and whatever, but that's like waiting for an apology from a person that you're never going to get it from. Are you going to continue to stay in that state of mind, in that state of being, in that state of functioning because you're waiting for that? Move on. Let them find you when you become, you know what I mean? And yeah. I think that that's where we go wrong. We're sitting around waiting. We're hoping that they're going to allow us into their game and at their table. Like Tyler Perry said, I don't want no seat at your table. I'll build my own. And if my people will come with me, we'll be good. But again, I think that us as Black people, we want to be included. And that's where we fail and we fall short,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like you said, it's like waiting for an apology in my way from a dead person, because it's obvious you're never going to get it.
You're not going to get it.
So the best thing for us to do is really build our own and teach our kids the right thing and, bring about change in the community and do those things so that we don't have to be in your space. And again, this does not blanket every Caucasian person, because I personally have Caucasian friends that I love. I have cops that I love that are my friends, and I know that I've seen on social media where people are saying, all cops are bad. I also feel that that's an ignorant statement to make due to the fact that all cops are not bad. We cannot generalize an entire, because it's the same thing when you say that you project the same behavior of everybody. All Blacks are this, then you say all cops are this. So how are we helping when we're saying the same things that, hurting us in the first place? Yep. I definitely 100% agree with you. So I'm not going to even ask you how you're doing in quarantine because it's very obvious. I am not going to even go down there.
Quarantine has given me much too much time to think and be in my brain and in my feelings. But I'm hanging in there. I'm doing good. I'm staying productive and I'm staying busy, and keeping things on the up and Friday. Woohoo. So I'm excited about that. Um, and just working on a bunch of things. I started the talk show, Girls Talk. Say it again.
Can you repeat what you're excited for on Friday due to the fact that the audio kind of went out at that point?
Yeah, I was saying I'm excited about Friday because my single is officially released on Friday, something, something. So I'm excited about that. I episode of Girls Talk, so that's been amazing. We're still working at the Kings and trying to do their format. I've been working on some cooking stuff and, mommying, and I'm back in school. Yeah, I got enough on my plate to keep me busy.
Listen, you have a full soldering plate right now.
Yeah. I'm on the second plate right now.
That's when you go back for seconds. I'm loving it. So, over the years, I have loved, for me, you have one of my favorite voices because it's so unique. And I've said that to you, to your face. I would say it to you in email, and I would, I just love your voice. There's just this passion and this, because I feel like everybody's voice sounds the same at some point. Like if you start listening back to some, like my husband and I, we were listening to some like old school music, and I was playing a game with him rather, and it was named The Singer, and that's when we realized so many people's voices sound the same. But when I played your song, when I played your music, he goes, Latice. I goes, yeah. And because your voice is so unique, you can pick it out in a lineup.
So funny. I think that's a good thing and a bad thing, because if I'm somewhere, I don't want nobody to know it's me.
No, but I love it. One of my favorite songs of all times that you've done, I've even choreographed dances to it, which is, I know we're going to talk about your single, but I just want to talk about my song first, which is Joshua's Anthem. And I feel like in this season, it's so important to even play that anthem. Like, we will win. We're going to overcome. And, the lyrics are just timeless. For that entire album, what was it that made you sat down, go through, or came up with the song Joshua's Anthem, even, for us, for it to minister to us, for it to inspire us, for us to remind us that even though we're going through whatever we're going through, we're still going to win and, raise our banners?
Yeah, when I was writing that song, of course, it was about my son Joshua. And the song started in a whole different place. I was actually talking about the things I'd be willing to do to save and to love my son. So the song was originally this. How did it go? I would cross the sea to get to him. I would fight another Pharaoh just so he could have freedom. I would give my life until the end, as long as Joshua leads God's people to the promise. That was what the song was originally. So I don't know how it turned into Joshua's Anthem, but no, I actually do know, because when I started writing that, again, it was just a song that I was going to sing to my son as a nursery rhyme. It was never supposed to be something recorded or used or anything like that. For him, let him know I will do whatever it takes to get to you, to love you, to be there for you, to rescue you, to save you, because you have purpose on your life. And then I started listening to the song, and I was like, wait a minute, I think this good. And I was like, I think that, like I said, the same way how it was encouraging me, I also wanted it to encourage other people to say that that's how God loves us, that he would do anything, to make sure that we're okay. So it's like, yeah, we've been afflicted, we've been broken, we've been all of these things, but we will still win in the end. And so, then the Lord just started kind of coming to me from there. But that's what the song originally was.
I'm in love with that song. I play that song till this day, and it's one of my all-time favorite songs. Not just from you, but it's like, you just have that song that you play whenever you're going through or anything. You don't even have to be going through anything. You just play it just because. And that's mine. So I said I would, ask you why you made my favorite song so I could get to know. So I know right now you have a new talk show on YouTube. I think it's Girl Talk.
Yeah, Girls Talk. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it. What kind of inspired you to have a moment for your ladies and, the girls? We talk, and you talk about everything.
Everything. We talk about everything. Girls Talk came about as an event that I was doing at my house every year. I wanted to have a place where women could feel like they could be free and like they could talk about the things. I know, for myself as a divorced, woman, I didn't feel comfortable in church, because I knew that the other women in the church that were either single or married or divorced and just didn't want to let nobody know that they were, or struggling with a relationship, it's somewhat condemned, in church for your marriage to not work out. And so I didn't feel comfortable, asking for someone to pray for me because I was, going through that, or heartbroken, or asking, is there a class that y'all can, tell me how to heal from this? Can I go to counseling? That those opportunities were not available in the churches that I was, frequenting. And so I wanted to have a place where I could have women from all facets of life, whatever it was that they had been through, whether it was rape, molestation, divorce, marriage, and they unhappy with their kids, unhappy at their job, whatever it is. I wanted to have women of all walks of life come to one place under one roof without judging religion, race, whatever it was, and just bring them together. And I would cook and have food, and they would sit, eat, we'd have conversation, we'd do icebreakers. But I just wanted a place, like I said, where women could feel safe, to be free and to be themselves, and to not feel like, I don't know what some man is going to think about me if I say this out loud. So Girls Talk is definitely a format and a place where, we talk about all things that women think about but are too afraid to say, and the things that men really want to know about us, but they too afraid to ask. You know what I mean? I make the disclaimer, it ain't churchy, it's human. It's human, and it's womanhood and sisterhood. And so since I'm in Corona, and the quarantine, and I can't have the event, I wanted to still make sure that I was creating that platform. And so we made it a talk show.
I like it, and I listened to it, and it was awesome. And I encourage you guys to go ahead, subscribe to her YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description section. Oh my God, yay! How do you think being in this lockdown due to coronavirus has kind of changed the way you process? And what are you going to take from this time and just apply it in your real life, like outside, once outside open up? What are your plans?
I would definitely say it makes me more conscious of time. It makes me more conscious of the things I wasn't paying attention to. It's helped me enjoy a lot of the things, that I thought I was enjoying before, music, cooking, being creative, spending time with my son. I realized that before I was doing those things because they were a necessity and not necessarily just because I enjoyed doing them. So even spending time with my son was, well, I have to, because he's my child, and I can't neglect him. But now it's more so like I want to, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, I get to spend time with him. I get to see the areas he may have been struggling in school, or, the things he's having a hard time with. I get to hear his thoughts, about how he's been dealing with grief. For those who don't know, we lost my mom and my dad within a 2-year time span, apart from each other. And in that 2 years, we lost about 8 family members, close family members, and so I get to really hear my son's heart, on how he feels about grief. And, at some point in time, Josh is an overachiever, and he was a great scholar. And then, at some point in time, his grades just started to really tank, and he lost enthusiasm about going to school. He wasn't sleeping. And again, just me constantly pushing, okay, come on, you got to get up, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I wasn't paying attention, to the fact that he was struggling, not with the work, but he was struggling to function because he was grieving, And so now, I'm more attentive to that. Now I can stop and say, okay, you know what? That's got to wait for a second, But it's also teaching me how to use some of these newer day tools that we have, social media and lives and these interviews. And, I'm enjoying it because I get to be home with him and still get to do what I love to do. Like I said, so I think I just learned to enjoy things more than just making them a necessity.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I'm happy that you're one of the parents that are very excited to have your child home, because I've been hearing so many mixed reviews. People were like, "Ugh," and I'm like, I can't relate because I have opted to homeschool my child since before. So I've always been a homeschool mom. So this is not new to me. So when people were saying certain things, it's like, I can't relate. I love having my child around. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I get it. Some people's kids are not as pleasant as others. You know, it is a difference, you know, especially for us that work from home. You know, I will not say it's not a challenge. You know, even to just get on an interview, I got to make sure that he is for 2-3 hours, you know, so it is hard for both of us. You know, there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, you got to pause on school because I got to get an interview. As soon as I get off, I'm coming back, you know, so it's very hands-on. I definitely will not say that it's not a challenge. You know, it is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, you know, and like I said, for those parents who are not used to it and those parents who have more than one child, you know, thankfully enough, Josh is 9 and he's always kind of maintained. Josh has been pretty much maintaining himself since he was 5. I think the Lord knew the kind of child I needed. And that I had a very busy, you know, life and schedule, and that he was, you know, I made it very, very, you know, a point, you know, I made a point when Josh was smaller to do my best to make sure that I was being the kind of mother that was not coddling him and not over nurturing him, but making sure he was equipped for what his life would be. You know, I knew, you know, unfortunately, I have a very busy schedule and there's times I can't be home. So I didn't want for him to feel crippled or to feel like, you know, unequipped or feel neglected because I wasn't able to do certain things. And so I felt like, you know what, this is my child. I can't be subjected to society's rules on how I should mother and how I should parent him. I have to parent him according to the life that I have that provides for him. And I felt very, you know, for a long time, I felt very guilty about that. But then I said, wait a minute, this child is eating. He got clothes. He got toys. He got everything he could possibly think of. I'm doing something right. And so I had to let go of those societal rules and say, this is the mother that I am. This is the mother I need to be. And in order for him to be okay and happy, these are the things I need to teach him. So even with that, I definitely want to encourage mothers, you know, don't be afraid to feel that way. Don't be afraid to say, no, this was not working for me. This system that has been set up for me to tell me that if I don't do this amount of times with my child, I'm a bad mother. If I don't do this, in episode 1 of Girls Talk, we actually talked about that. Are you a bad mother? Are you a bad mother because you're not doing these things that have been dotted out for you by people who probably don't have kids, people who, you know, men who can't have no children, you know, because they ain't there and trying to help as best as they can, but you don't have to follow those guidelines and those rules, and you don't have to walk around feeling guilty. I was walking around with my head hung low, feeling very guilty about the parent I needed to be. But now, child, let me swing this hair real quick and tell you, this the mother you got, okay? Shoot. And this is who I need to be, you know? So, like I said, I'm very unapologetic about the mother I am. When I need that break, when I need to go and do something, when I need to go on the road, my son is very aware of where I am, who I am with, and why I am there. And it works for us, you know, but I used to make sure I would buy, like before I would leave for town, I would cook dinner and I would buy the trays that had the compartments and the little sticky paper stuff that goes on the top of the plate. And I make him homemade TV dinners. Like, these are in the freezer. These are stacked up. When you coming from school, grandma's going to be home with you. Pop one in the microwave. So he always had a home cooked meal. He wasn't out there eating McDonald's. He wasn't eating fast food, but it was the way I needed to do it. That crock pot saved my life. So it was the way that I needed it to be for me. So shoot, I'm trying to say, get you a crock pot and make your life better.
Listen, I'm all for it because I have never been the person to allow society to dictate my child. The problem I have a lot with people, and I think they understand, is we cannot blanket everybody. We can't say this is how this child will be raised. I'm West Indian. So how a Caribbean person raises their kid is going to be different than how an American raises their child, how a European raises. So how can you then put every child in the same category? What may be applicable to you will not be applicable to me. So I feel I don't think you should feel guilty for how you raise your kid. Once you're doing your best as a parent to provide, protect, and keep them safe, I think you've done your job. I think if your child, like you said, has a roof over their head, they, have a meal to eat, they know they can come to mommy and daddy and talk to them about anything. It's like I was in this conference, a great conference, and this lady was given tips on how to raise your kids. And someone asked a question, do you have kids? And she said no. And I'm like, hold up. Honey, take several seats, walk away from this screen, and let's not have this conversation anymore, right?
Ever again.
I'm like, that's not to say you don't have any insight, but you cannot give me this rigid rule that you have not applied in your own life to tell me what to do with mine. And my son is raised different, and that's okay with me. We go to, they'll say, oh, don't take your kids to events. Listen, if I have a concert, Andrew's with me. I remember when Andrew was little, he was under a year, we would go to the movie theaters and people wouldn't even know there's a baby in there. That's how quiet he was. And we would go, yes, whatever concerts. I remember when we would go to events, like all of our friends would roll up on us because they knew Andrew was here, so we had snacks. So they would come and just be there. So, some people are going to say, oh, don't do that. Somebody's going to say, oh, don't homeschool your child. If you meet my child, socially, you would never know he's homeschooled. He'll socialize with you just the same. He'll play with your kids. There's nothing to say that he's a homeschool child. And he does good in school. So there's no one set rule to raise a child that society keeps telling you that you need to form. And half of the times, these people that do it, their kids are in therapy because they can't really talk to their parents anyhow. So again, there's nothing wrong with therapy, but that's, I'm not, saying anything wrong that's wrong with therapy, but I'm saying I'm raising my son the way he is. I'm happy. He's happy. We're good. Jesus loves us. I'm a rock with that. So I support that. And I've seen your son. He is the happiest, one of the smartest kids I have ever met, seen, or his maturity level for 9 is beyond me. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, see, that's him right there coming in to probably ask for a snack. So for those of you who just heard my door open and see my hand go like this, like, wait a minute, that's why. Because my son is at my door. See what I'm trying to tell you? We got to make this corona thing work. See what I'm saying?
That's the plus of being home, Joshua. Tell mommy so you can rock off this camera at any time so we can.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. What you need, baby? Oh, you may see. I see this is my real life. See, this is my real life.
That. I truly, truly do, because it's who you are. It's what makes you who you are. It's a part of the woman you are today. Has a lot to do also with him, because there are things that you probably change, adapt to, learn more patience and things like that, so you can deal with people. So I don't like when people omit that part of their lives. I feel like every part of your life is important, and you should embrace it and love it. And that's one of the things I love about you. You do.
I try to, because I feel like that as an artist, it's important. When I first came into this industry, I was working with someone who was constantly telling me, you don't want people to know you have a baby. You don't want people to know that you're in a relationship. You don't want people to know if you're married. You don't want all these things, and I was taught. It was just like, well, because, you don't want for people, one, to be too privy to your life, one, but two, they was like, you don't want people to know that you're tied down, because you're pretty and you look like a model, and you want for guys in the industry to want to be with you and want to talk to you. So I said, well, I've never seen, marriage or a child stop any guy that don't care about none of that stuff from trying to talk to somebody. Like, I've never seen it. You know what I mean? If they're going to try to do what they're going to try to do, they're going to do it. No matter what you say you have attached to you. I said, but furthermore, what my music is about, I don't know how I can keep that from people. I think that the things that come along with my life, and I know I don't post my son up all over social media just because people are crazy and they creep and they take screens. But I do think people knowing that I have a child and knowing that that's a part of my personality, one of the main issues I've had with people connecting to my music, why they're connecting more now, is because people have not been able to see my real personality. They see me pinned up in a gown all the time, bald head, always, like this at a microphone. and they start to think, oh, okay, well, she can stand behind a microphone and she can sing, she can go to these particular places and not embarrass us, you know what I mean? But who is she? Who is she as a person? What's her personality? So when I was trying to tell people, or making music that sounded funner, or making music that was about real things in life, people, it went, what you said about that woman. Well, are you going through that? Do you have a kid? Have you been divorced? People didn't think I had problems. They didn't think that I had real life circumstances. So now that I'm being much more open about the deaths that have surrounded me, my divorce, my son, all these different things, it's opening up a whole new people to really, for my music to resonate with people, for them to go, oh, okay, that's the pain she was talking about. I had one person tell me a while ago when I was complaining about something that I didn't like, about something with the industry, and someone had the nerve to say to me, "Oh, that's pretty problems." And I said, "Oh, wow, well, you have no idea what I struggle with every single day. Maybe in your eyes, you think that I'm put together and that I just think I'm hot stuff. All of the abuse that I had gotten in relationships, where people were bashing my face in, or telling me I was ugly, telling me that I wasn't enough, telling me I was ugly, telling me I was too skinny. You have no idea of how ugly my mind was, how ugly my heart was, how ugly my emotions were. So for you to just look at an outside feature and not know that it took healing of that too, the marks that were on my face, all of that stuff. I had to use a lot of cocoa butter, okay? And I can say it jokingly now, but people don't really understand how my spirit was ugly and the kind of person it created in me, the person it made me be for such a long time. So I wanted to make sure, like I said, that people really get the real full of me, so that when I'm singing these songs, they get it and they understand that I'm in it with you. I've been there with you. So when I'm saying you can overcome it, when I'm saying you can make it, when I'm saying that God can heal that too, you know that I mean it because I've lived it. I'm not just saying it because it's some cliche church thing that sounds good and pretty to you. No, I'm saying it because I've had to heal from it, because I've been in pain from it, because I've had to overcome it myself. I want to be the example of somebody who perseveres, somebody who somebody can look at and say, wow, if she can do it, I can do it too. So, now, like I said, I swing this hair and I let them know this is what it is. This is what my life has been. And it has not been pretty. I don't have pretty problems. That is, my life has not been pretty. It has not been something that you want to live, but I have lived anyway through it. Yeah.
And that's just beautiful and powerful. And I think people need that. Like I always say, I think people know real. I love real and I love genuine. I don't enjoy fake. I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody should. But I love a genuine heart. I love your voice. I love your music. I just love you as a person, and I hope you never change. I hope you stay who you are. I love that you're genuine. You're always honest. You can always ask you for something and you give an honest review, and I love that. I always tell people I don't like people that give me pretty answers all the time. I want the truth. Tell me I look a mess before. I feel like the best friends you can have is the ones that will grab you behind stage and be, listen, you look a mess, fix yourself. And then I said, if you let me go on that stage, you're not my friend. We can't rock.
It's true. I think sometimes my honesty gets me in trouble, and the bad thing is that I've been more honest as of late. I just, like you said, I don't believe in giving pretty answers. My mouth doesn't have a filter, and neither does my face. Usually, even if I'm saying something and it ain't really what I want to say, you're going to be able to tell because my face is going to be like, well, but I think you can attest to that when people have asked me, oh, can you do such and such? No, I can't do that. I can do this though. I always try to still give something and do something, but I'm very quick to tell you what I cannot. No, I cannot do that. I refuse to try to take on any task that, I know I can't accomplish, because it doesn't just hurt you, it makes me look bad too. Obviously, it's just more so, it's the truth, and I want to make sure, like you said, that my friends are put together, and that I'm not letting them walk out and look any kind of way.
Gotcha. I love that, and I can rock with that. So I've enjoyed talking to you as always, and I could go on, and I hope we do this again sometime because this was awesome as always. So I know you have a lot to do today. Before we go, is there anything you would like to leave with the our viewers, our listeners, to share with, impart in their lives today?
I would just say in this season, be very comfortable in the part of the body that you function in. You know, the body of Christ, you know, there are many parts to it. And, you know, you don't have to be one thing or the other. If you're not a head, be a pinky toe. You know, it's all right, you know, but be comfortable in the part of the body that you function in. Change your perspective about this quarantine. This is all about the gift of time for you to take risks, time for you to rest, time for you to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, or just time for you to stand still. Whatever it is that you feel you're being led to do it now, take risks, and make sure you go and order my new single, Something Something. It is available. It will be available by the time this airs. So make sure you guys go get it. You can find it in the link in my bio on my Instagram page, and that is Latice Crawford. You got to stop looking for Latrice. She's cool, but she ain't me. Okay? I'm Latice, Latice. There is no R. It is invisible in silence.
Her mama made her unique and named her uniquely. So gotta get that. Well, thank you, Latice. I appreciate you. You look beautiful as always, and let's do this again soon.
Let's do it, girl.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much,
Got a
Tanika.
hold of me, just won't hear me alone. There's something is better than you, so I'm moving on. You made yourself look like an angel, so I fell deeper into your life.